Imagine placing your life in the hands of a trusted professional, only to have that trust shattered in the most horrifying way. Today, we delve into the chilling tales of doctors turned killers, whose heinous acts have left an indelible mark on history. From the quiet English town of Hyde to the bustling hospitals of New Jersey, we will uncover stories of lethal injections, falsified medical records, and selfies with deceased patients that shocked the world. Join us as we unravel the dark side of the medical profession where trust is betrayed and lives are tragically cut short. Meet Harold Frederick Shipman, an English doctor whose name has become synonymous with death. Known as Dr. Death, Shipman is suspected of claiming the lives of as many as 250 patients under his care, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in modern history. Shipman was a master manipulator, using his position of trust to prey on his victims and their families.
I mean, a doctor, you just think, well, it's the doctor. You wouldn't imagine that he was going to kill a lot of people.
He had an uncanny ability to predict the time of his victim's death, often down to the hour, and would falsify medical records to create a plausible explanation for their demise. Shipman's last victim was Kathleen Grundy, a former mayor of Hyde who was found dead at her home on June 24, 1998. He was the last person to see her alive.
She did do quite a number of charitable things and also community things. She used to work in the Age Concern shop in the centre of Hyde.
He later signed her death certificate, attributing her death to old age. But when a suspicious will surfaced, leaving everything to Shipman, Grundy's daughter Angela took her concerns to the police.
The fact that it left all of the estate to Shipman, which, I mean, if you'd known Kathleen in a relationship to us, to the family, that would have been extraordinarily unlikely.
Grundy's body was exhumed and found to contain traces of heroin. Shipman claimed that Kathleen had been an addict and showed them comments he had written to that effect in his computerized medical journal. However, police examination of his computer showed that the entries were written after her death. Shipman was arrested on the 7th of September 1998 and he was sentenced to life in prison in January of 2000. He was convicted of 15 counts of murder. The judge recommended that he never be released from prison, stating that he believed Shipman would always remain a danger to society. He was found dead in his prison cell 4 years later of an apparent suicide. As we cross the Atlantic and head to Italy, we encounter another chilling figure in the medical profession, Daniela Poggiali, an Italian nurse whose actions sent shockwaves through the medical community. Beneath her professional exterior laid a chilling secret. Poggiali was accused of killing 2 of her patients with lethal injections of potassium chloride. Potassium chloride, when administered in high doses, can stop the heart, leaving little trace and making it a near-perfect murder weapon. Poggiali's victims were under her care, trusting her with their lives. But it was her audacity that truly shocked the public. Poggiali was caught posing next to the lifeless bodies of her victims, smiling, making mocking expressions, and even taking selfies. These macabre images spread through the internet, marking her as a grim figure of the annals of crime. Poggiali's actions eventually caught up to her, and she was arrested and convicted in 2014. However, her story didn't end there. Poggiali's case attracted the attention of statisticians who questioned the evidence used to convict her, and in a surprising turn of events, Poggiali was acquitted in April of 2022. The acquittal was based on a statistical analysis that challenged the evidence used in her conviction. Poggiali is free today, despite all the evidence that was brought up against her. However, even the crimes of Shipman and Poggiali pale in comparison to those of Dr. Charles Cullen. Cullen began his nursing career at St. Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey in 1987. He moved from hospital to hospital, changing jobs frequently and leaving behind him a trail of suspicious deaths. Investigations into Cullen's activities intensified when hospital officials and law enforcement agencies began to notice an unusually high number of deaths and unexplained medical emergencies occurring throughout his shifts. Cullen was arrested in December of 2003, following an investigation into a suspicious death at a medical center in New Jersey. Cullen later stated in an interview that he shouldn't have been able to work as a nurse because they suspected him of harming patients.
I mean, the weird thing about Somerset Hospital is that they were planning on firing me the night before. So they let me work one more shift, knowing that they were going to fire me the next day. So they let me work an additional shift with the suspicion that I had harmed patients, which is kind of a bizarre thing to do.
Cullen confessed to murdering at least 40 patients during his 16-year nursing career.
Is 40 an arbitrary number?
40 is an estimate. I gave a number between 30 and 40. I think I have identified, most of them.
Look, you pled guilty to murder.
But experts believe the actual number was closer to at least 215 and possibly up to 459 people over a 23-year period. He killed his victims by administering overdoses of medication, most often digoxin, insulin, and epinephrine. His victims were primarily elderly patients and critically ill patients. A year later, in 2004, Cullen pleaded guilty to murdering 13 patients and attempting to murder 2 others. He also pleaded guilty to murdering 3 patients at Easton Hospital in Easton, Pennsylvania, and admitted to murders at other hospitals where he had worked. Cullen was sentenced to 11 consecutive life sentences in New Jersey, and is serving his sentence at New Jersey State Prison. He was also sentenced to 6 life sentences in Pennsylvania.
You are hereby sentenced to New Jersey State Prison to 2 consecutive life sentences